Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Swinging it for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo guy's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flows like eggs. Looked at a wild lag and prayed for dust, and they play too deep for being sad. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, when you can go follow
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven.
Backbone Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on June 16th to Collision on June 21st. So we will kick off with Raw. We open with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio coming to the ring. Morgan introduces Mysterio as well as herself. Reminds her that this Raw Women's Division is hers. If you talk about it, then you have to talk about her. Last week, she heard that Nikki Bella was getting all the attention, but no one paved the way for her. Morgan became a legend on her own, but now she is demanding respect. Sorry, I misread my note there. But now she's demanding respect. She's getting her title back, so Sky comes out to interrupt. Sky wants Morgan to shut up with her disrespect, so Morgan can have a fight right now if she wants it. Liv says that's fine, or Sky can just hand her the title instead because she knows she'll beat her. Sky tells her to earn it rather than stealing it like she did with Dominic Mysterio, of course, Rhea Ripley. Sky then throws her title at Liv, seemingly giving it to her, but then hits her with a drop kick and follows it with a kick to the back of Dom's head as he's kind of sitting at the edge of the ring, checking on to make sure Liv is doing okay. We then get our King of the Ring Fatal 4-Way for the women, where the returning Asuka defeats Stephanie Vaquer, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile. When Rhea Ripley comes out and hits the Riptide on Raquel on the floor, and then throws her back in the ring, and Asuka hits the Empress Impact, which is a running hip attack, and she gets the 3 on Raquel there. And then after the match, Asuka says her fire did not die, and she is going to become the queen of the ring. We then go to the back, and Liv Morgan wants Raquel Rodriguez to come with her, but she is still banged up from the match that she just had, and the attack that she took from Rhea. Dom is not happy. JD McDonough wants Dom to have his back tonight out for his match, but Finn says he'll have it instead. Dom then says Balor didn't get rid of AJ Styles, so Dom will do it himself. They then leave, and Finn is checking on Raquel and gives her a bit of a pep talk before wanting to talk to Raquel Rodriguez, who is also, or not Raquel, Roxanne Perez, who is also hanging around. We then get Gunther. He is out for his big celebration after winning his world title back last week. He's man enough to admit that Jey Uso was the better man at WrestleMania. The fans then begin to chant Goldberg over and over again, but Gunther isn't here to talk about any rumors. The reality is that Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank briefcase, so Gunther will make it easy for him. Come on out right now and come get his title if he wants it so badly. We then get Goldberg. Goldberg comes out. He kind of hobbles down. Obviously he's a little older, not as limber as he quite used to be, but he kind of hobbles down to the ring. He's here to celebrate Gunther's title win. He says the thing is, though, Gunther started something with his family in Atlanta at Bad Blood last October, and then Goldberg says he is going to finish it with Gunther in Atlanta, Georgia, once again on July 12th for Saturday night's main event. We then get a match with AJ Styles defeating JD McDonough via pinfall following a Styles clash, despite constant interference from the Judgment Day. Post-match, AJ goes for Dom, but Finn comes out and runs in to make the save, but Styles actually ends up stealing the Intercontinental title and walking away with it. We then get Natalya along with the Alpha Academy, giving Sheamus a pep talk before he faces Rusev in their Fatal 4-Way King of the Ring qualifier match later. We then get Bayley. She is on her way to the ring. She runs past A-Town Down Under and New Day as they're kind of arguing and chit-chatting back and forth. Bayley then comes to the ring. She is glad to be back and lets the fans give her her special chant. Bayley isn't happy with Becky Lynch for costing her a WrestleMania match. She's going to climb the ladder to get back to face Lynch so she can get for Becky to get out here right now. Becky then comes out. She's wearing a Chicago Bears jacket and shirt. Obviously, I think they were in Green Bay, so trying to get even more heel heat than she already gets. She says she talks about how they beat the Green Bay Packers last time they played. Lynch talks about how she's always about her legacy, while Bayley is always about her friends. That's why she has surpassed Bayley, but Bayley talks about how she's willing to help some people along and not really care about herself. Lynch took a year off and was so scared that people wouldn't care about her. That's why she attacked Bayley and stole her spot at WrestleMania. She says, "Does Lynch remember what it was like to have to work to get something?" And then Becky responds and says, "Do you remember what it's like to have gold?" Bayley is ready to fight, so Becky agrees, but not here. She says, "See you in Columbus," and slaps Bayley in the face, and then Bayley drops her, and Becky kind of scurries away. So we will have a women's Intercontinental title match, I think, next week on Raw in Columbus, Ohio. So we then get Jey Uso. He says he's ready to face Gunther again one-on-one. Says they're 1-1 against each other, which is definitely not true. I think Gunther has him by about a 3-1 margin or a 4-1 margin based on previous matches, but I think he means since WrestleMania he won one at WrestleMania, and now Gunther obviously beat him. And he says if it takes him winning King of the Ring to get another shot at him, so be it. We then get AJ Styles. He gives the Intercontinental title back to Nick Aldis to give to Dom, obviously. He says Styles has a title shot at Night of Champions, so it'll be Styles versus Dom at Night of Champions. He then walks away. Bayley comes in and says that next week, Aldis says that next week it's Bayley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental title. Aldis then leaves, and Bayley goes up to Lyra Valkyria, who is standing backstage. Bayley apologizes for not getting back to her, but says she was just doing what was best for the title. Valkyria doesn't seem too happy with this statement and says she's coming for the title no matter who has it, whether it's her or Becky. We then get a match with Kairi Sane and Liv Morgan. It starts, but it quickly is stopped as Liv Morgan appears to hurt her arm. They later talk about it being a separated shoulder or a dislocated shoulder. So I haven't heard an official time period for her, but it appears that she's going to be out for a good bit, and I believe they've already vacated the women's tag team championships, so she's going to be out for a minute. I think I saw 3 or 4 months, but depending on the severity of it, it could be even longer than that. But terrible to see her go down because she had a really great year last year, and she was doing pretty well this year as well, but sad to see her. And it was just a freak spot. It wasn't anything Kairi did wrong or Liv particularly did wrong. She just kind of stuck her arm out to land on it, and it just, popped right out. So hopefully she'll be back sooner rather than later, but we will see. We then get a interview with Sami Zayn. He is excited about the King of the Ring tournament and being in the semifinals, but Karrion Kross comes in to fuck with him like he has been over the last few months. Zayn thinks Kross is back here all the time because he can't back it up in the ring. And Kross says that sounds like a challenge, so we'll see if Zayn and Kross face each other eventually. And then we get our main event where Jey Uso advances in the King of the Ring tournament, defeating Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev when he hits the spear and Uso splash on Bronson Reed after a night. And then after the match, Uso is banged up, so here comes Seth Rollins. But Cody Rhodes actually comes out before Rollins can do any attacking. Rollins then has a big stare down with Cody, but leaves without really doing anything. And then Jay and Cody, who are going to face each other in the semifinals, have a stare down before shaking each other's hands to end the show. And then that main event, 4-way, was definitely the best match of the show. Not too many matches, honestly. I think there were only like 4 or 5 matches, but that was definitely took the cake. The Queen of the Ring quarterfinal was good as well, but I would give the heads up to the leg up to the men's portion of that. But we'll go on to NXT, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not going to do a top 5 this week. I think I may discontinue the top 5 for a while. It's just kind of a little tedious task to kind of put it together, but at the end of the week, every week, especially with Collision, when it happens on Saturday, it's kind of hard to put together after doing all that. So I may discontinue that for a while. I may not, but I definitely didn't do one for this week. So just go ahead and say that. But we'll go to NXT. We have the opening video that looks at JC Jane being unhappy over being called the most beatable champion in NXT history. And as a result, obviously Ava had set up a tournament for a title shot at her for Evolution. We start that little tournament where Jada Parker defeats Thea Hale when she pins her after hitting the hypnotic. Jada had actually tapped, but the ref was on the other side of where it happened, and Thea let go, thinking she won. But Jada then hits her with the hypnotic and pins her. This qualifies her for the number one contender fatal four-way that I believe will happen this coming up Tuesday on NXT. We then get Josh Briggs, Yoshiki Inamura, and Elijah. They are ready to beat up First Class and Trick Williams. Elijah leaves, and Hank and Tank come in and say Briggs and Inamura have a tag team title shot coming their way. Just tell them when. We then get a video of Blake Monroe picking out her perfect dress for her contract signing later on tonight. We then get Lash Legend defeating Kalani Jordan via pinfall following the Lash extension. This qualifies Lash for the four-way next week. We then recap the downfall of the D'Angelo family and Luca Crucifino being somewhere in the middle between Tony D and Stax. Tony D is tired of waiting for Crucifino and we'll see him in the ring. We then cut to the ring and Tony D comes out. He says, as the Don, you have to be ready for everything no matter what. That's what got him in trouble with Stax, but now he wants to talk to Luca. Right now, Luca comes out who wants to know if this is what we're doing. Tony D then asks what happened with Luca and Stax in the desert. Luca says he was kidnapped and had his phone stolen, but then Stax just let him go. He didn't attack Stax at Battleground because he didn't know what to do. Tony D then flat out asks him whose side is he on, and before he can answer, obviously Stax comes out with some of his quote unquote family, I guess, to interrupt. Stax talks about Tony D not trusting Luca and how Luca knows what to do. His goons then come out, and Stax hits the ring with Tony D and Luca fighting them off. But Luca swings at Stax when he gets in the ring and accidentally hits Tony D. We don't know whether it was by mistake or on purpose, but Stax leaves and seems to approve of old Luca hitting Tony D in the face. We then cut to the back. We have AJ Francis. He says Casey Navarro, his buddy in First Class, is injured and can't wrestle in tonight's six-man. So Trick freaks out a little bit, but then AJ says he got Wesley to team up with him tonight. Wesley comes in and talks some strategy with them, and then Trick Williams seems to approve of Wesley being their third partner. We then go to the Chase U classroom where Kel Dixon has some questions. He continuously keeps putting his hand up. Andre Chase continues to kind of talk and teach and give some pointers on how to get ahead in your career. And I believe he tells him to fucking figure it out before Dixon kind of gets pissed off and walks out, and Uriah Connors ends up kind of walking out with him. So Andre Chase's tough love isn't really working so much for Cale Dixon at this point. We then get the Vanity Project. They congratulate Ethan Page for hurting Ricky Saints. Saints comes in, who says he'll be cleared next week. The Vanity Project then laugh at him, and then Ashante the Adonis also comes in to mock him as well, with a match between them, singing likely before sooner rather than later. We then get Ren Sinclair. She hasn't talked to Charlie Dempsey, though Tavion Heights apparently wants out of the team as well. Javon Evans then wants him out as well. So Charlie then comes in and says Heights and Evans can fight for Heights' freedom. We then get Blake Monroe. She's having some photos taken as she arrives at the arena. Elijah, Inamura, and Briggs then defeat AJ Francis, Trick Williams, and Wes Lee when Lee accidentally takes out Trick, allowing Inamura to hit a top rope splash and pin him. So Yoshiki Inamura getting a big win over the TNA World Champion. We then get Sol Ruka and Zarya. They are ready for tonight with Tatum Paxley following behind them, kind of being creepy. We then get Stevie Turner, Ava, and Robert Stone. They're in the back with Luca and Tony D walk in. Tony D wants Luca to face Stacks next week, but Ava says no because Stacks already has a Heritage Cup shot, and then says that Stacks Consigliere already signed off on it, which makes Tony D even more pissed, despite the fact that Luca says that has nothing to do with him and he didn't do any such thing. We then get Izzy Dame defeating Zarya via pinfall following a sky-high powerbomb. Finish happened when Zarya got distracted by Sol Ruca, who had been confronted by Tatum Paxley, who had been following them around. This qualifies Izzy for the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership. So a lot of bigger girls in this 4-way so far. A lot of size for sure. So because Izzy's one of the bigger, taller girls, and so is Lash Legend, of course. So pretty cool to kind of see them giving some girls with some size an opportunity. We then get Josh Briggs saying that Inamura should get a TNA World Title shot, but Inamura wants Briggs to have it instead, and Inamura will instead go after the NXT title. We then get Jordan Grace defeating Lola Vice via pinfall following the Juggernaut driver. This makes Jordan the final member of that Fatal 4-Way. So it's going to be Jada, Izzy, Lash, and Jordan, with the winner taking on JC Jane at Evolution. We then get Zarya. She yells at Tatum Paxley, but Izzy Dame comes in to say Zarya and Sol Ruca aren't Tatum's real friends anyway. Dame then wouldn't leave her out of her TikTok videos. If she did any, she would invite Tatum to be in them with her. We then get a promo by Noam Dar real quick, saying he's going to defend the Heritage Cup against Stacks next week and how he's ready to do so, because that's the only match he's had since he got back. And spoiler alert, he has already gotten hurt, even though I think he just came back from injury, but he is already hurt again, and Stacks will face a opponent to be named later for the now vacant Heritage Cup. So we'll see how that goes. We then get Ava. She's out for Blake Monroe's contract signing. Blake then comes out and to say she has been waiting to jump into bed with the talent in that locker room. The spotlight is on her, and she signs, which brings out Fatal Influence, of course. They don't like Monroe, with JC Jane calling her the new flavor of the month. They then attack her. Monroe seems to kind of fight him off at first, but eventually the numbers kind of catches up to her, and she gets kind of double spine busted through the table to end the show. So, but as far as best match on NXT, I would go with the 6-man tag match that they had with Inamura Briggs. Inamura Briggs and Elijah taking on Wesley, Trick, and AJ Francis. So that was a really good tag match. I would say all the Fatal 4-Way, the qualifiers for the Fatal 4-Way were all pretty good as well. With the first one with Jada and Thea probably being the tops, and Jordan and Lola being up there as well. But I would go with the 6-man tag as a best match for that show. We will then go to Dynamite. Hangman is out to start things. He actually speaks in a little bit of Spanish as they're in the Arena Mexico for the show tonight. Talks about the importance of working together. He thanks the fans for having them in CMLL's house, and together they have the best wrestling in the world. Page then says he doesn't like John Moxley, and while he won't be wrestling tonight, Hangman can do something after the main event is over. We then get a 14-man tag where Adam Cole, Atlantis Jr., Bandito, Brody King, Daniel Garcia, and Templario defeat Dax Harwood, Volador Jr., Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, Hinchicero, Josh Alexander, and Lance Archer when Atlantis catches Harwood in a small package for a surprise win. After the match, Harwood attacks Atlantis, but quickly gets run off. We then get a video on Kazuchika Okada joining the Don Callis family before his title unification match against Kenny Omega at All In. Mark Briscoe then gets a promo and talks about his history with Kenny Omega, and he wants some revenge on Okada for what he did to Kenny. We then get that match where Okada defeats Mark Briscoe via pinfall with the Rainmaker. We then get a match with Mystico defeating MJF by disqualification when MJF kicks him low. Mystico had made him tap to La Mystica, but the ref was distracted by MVP, which eventually led to the DQ finish. After the match, MJF beats down Mystico a little bit more and takes his mask. Teton, Bandito, Templario, and Jet Speed then all come out and run off the Hurt Syndicate. So a lot of people are thinking this may end up being a kind of mask versus hair match between Mystico and MJF at All In, just to kind of give them something to do. This match was actually pretty good, and I would, if it hadn't had the DQ ending, I think it would definitely be one of the tops of the week. But definitely a solid match nonetheless. But it would be cool to see them kind of run it back. We then get Hologram defeating Ricochet, Leo Rush, and Mascara Dorado when he hits a spinning torture rack bomb on Leo Rush. Hologram winning this match wins 4 million pesos by winning the match, and that is roughly just over $210,000. I believe is what they said on commentary, and I also looked it up just to double check. But it's 210 and some change. I can't remember the exact number, but it was roughly just over $210,000. We then get Mercedes Moné adding to her title number. She defeats Zeuxis via pinfall, reversing a slam attempt into a small package to become the new CMLL Women's Champion, adding to her belt count, which gets her to 6 championships now. After the match, Toni Storm pops up for a film noir speech about how she's coming for Moné. Mina Shirakawa then appears for a distraction, and Storm appears and chases Moné off, almost pile driving her on the ramp. And then we get our main event, which is a 10-man tag where the Young Bucks, the Beast Mortos, Wheeler Yuta, and John Moxley defeat Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Swerve Strickland when Moxley is able to roll up Swerve Strickland with a handful of tights. And then after the match, the heels beat Strickland down, and then Hangman Page comes out to make the save. They have a little bit of a brawl, and Moxley with Moxley, but Page's buckshot lariat accidentally hits Nick Jackson instead of Moxley. Matt Jackson is pretty annoyed by this, so Moxley tries to bring in the briefcase with the championship in it, which is cut off, and somebody gets it back for Moxley. And then Page and the Bucks just kind of stare at each other to end the show, because he doesn't seem to want to attack them, but he also is very, very clear that he's not with them at the same time. But the 4-way for the 4 million pesos would be my match of the night for the show. They just let 4 high flyers go out there and do their thing, and I really, really enjoyed that one a lot. So I would go with that for the best match. We'll move on to Impact. We open with Eric Young defeating Sami Callihan via pinfall after the Northern Armory gets involved with a chair behind the ref's back, and then Eric Young hits the pile driver for the 3 count. We then get the non-champions for the Champions Challenge later tonight, kind of saying they're ready, and they're ready to prove that they can one day be champions by defeating the current champions that will be in that match later. We then get the Order 4 out for a summit. Mustafa Ali starts yelling at Tasha Steelz, accusing of her of being terrible at her job. Ali then accuses her of calling him, even checking her phone and finding out that she did call him today, not really implying who him is. Steelz is thrown out, meaning it's time for Jason Hotch. He's not happy with Ali, who thinks Ali is wrong for yelling and screaming at a woman. Ali brings up that Hotch lives in his wife and family's home in a house that Ali pays for every month. Therefore, Ali wants an apology, which Hotch actually gives him begrudgingly. We then move on to John Schuyler, who brings up every bad thing Ali has been doing lately. Ali is a great leader, but lately it seemed like it's more of an Order 1 than an Order 4. Ali isn't going to have that and orders Schuyler to apologize and tells him to do it on his hands and knees. Schuyler says that isn't going to happen, and I think he even shoves Ali down, and Ali bails and says they'll face each other in a match at a later date. We then get Killer Kelly. She talks about her days with Masha Slamovich in the tag team MK Ultra. But now it is time for Kelly to take her rightful place at the top of the division as Knockouts champion. We then get the Team by Elegance defeating Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Lee when Killer Kelly distracts Masha long enough for her to be shoved off the top rope and hit with rarefied air by Ash, allowing Ash to get the win. So Ash gets a big win over the champion. So maybe that'll lead to a title shot for her down the line. We then get the Inspiration. They pop up in the back and say they want the Knockouts tag team titles. So they will be challenging the Team by Elegance at some point in the future, I'm guessing. We then get Santino Marella. He comes out. He says next week Mike Santana will be back and will be facing AJ Francis in a street fight. Santino then brings out Tommy Dreamer, who got in a fight with Mance Warner last week. He's willing to let Dreamer face Warner anytime, but Warner and Steph Delander then come out. Steph says that the Innovator of Violence thing was impressive in 1996, but she wasn't even born yet when that happened. Dreamer agrees that it isn't his time, though there is something they should know. And then Jake Something comes out and returns and clears them out. So seems like Jake Something is going to be his kind of advocate or kind of fill in to go forward and face Mance Warner, since Tommy's, I don't think he's retired, but he's definitely on the back half of his career for sure. We then go to the back, and Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell are arguing about last week's loss in there in the 841 match. Blanchard brings up helping Hartwell when her career was just starting. Hartwell then says Blanchard is proving everyone right by being the bitch that everybody thinks she is. We then get Matt Cardona and his surprise partner. It ends up being the Hometown Man, a.k.a. Cody Deaner. They defeat the System represented by Eddie Edwards and JDC when the Hometown Man rolls up Eddie Edwards when Eddie Edwards seems to be going for the Hometown Man's mask. After the match, Brian Myers comes in for the beatdown, but Cardona seemingly makes a save for a second, but then the rest of the System, with the numbers advantage, take him down and leave the Hometown Man and Matt Cardona laying. We then see the six-man tag action where Inamura defeats Trick Williams, but then gives the TNA title shot to Josh Briggs, which will happen on Tuesday's NXT coming up. And then we get our Champions Challenge match where the non-champions of the Rascals, Elijah, Joe Hendry, and Leon Slater defeat the champions of Trick Williams, Steve Macklin, Moose, and the Nemeth brothers when Elijah hits the Highwayman's Farewell on Ryan Nemeth to get the win. That was absolutely the best match of the show. Again, a lot of promos and stuff like that trying to set up as we head towards Slammiversary. But yeah, really good, really good 10-man tag there to end the show. So really enjoyed that. We'll go on to SmackDown. We get LA Knight to start things out. He has been sabotaging people in the King of the Ring tournament because he wants to get his hands on Seth Rollins. Therefore, he wants Rollins out here right now, but he gets Paul Heyman instead, of course. As Heyman does all his usual phrases and all that stuff, Knight asks him to get to the point already. Heyman talks about representing Seth Rollins and company, but he is a huge LA Knight fan as well. He even gives us a yeah before saying Rollins has allowed him to say to Knight that as a favor, it is time for Knight to get out of town. Either that or something bad is going to happen to him before the end of the show tonight. Knight then calls Heyman a grifter and a leech who bleeds everyone dry. Right now, it's Rollins and Knight, and he doesn't care who is next. Since there is no Rollins, Knight is willing to face Paul Heyman right now, and even turns his back to Heyman, so Heyman can get in the first shot. Heyman seems to be about to hit him in the back, but he bails to the floor, reiterates his warning about something bad happening tonight, and that's a spoiler. So here comes Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They both get in and take Knight down, with Reed throwing him into the timekeeper's area. Knight emerges from that and grabs a chair and kind of clears them out as they don't want anything to do with that. We then come back from commercial break, and Heyman and company are told that Reed is going to face LA Knight later tonight, and Heyman implies that that was their plan all along. We then get our first semifinal, Queen of the Ring tournament, I should say, where Asuka defeats Alexa Bliss via pinfall when Alexa misses the Twisted Bliss, and Asuka follows it with the Empress Impact. So Asuka will either face Jade or Roxanne Perez in the finals at Night of Champions, and we'll figure out who she faces on Raw, as well as the other King of the Ring semifinal, who they'll face, based on who wins on SmackDown here in a minute that I'll talk about. But Jade is interviewed next in the back. She is impressed by Asuka, but she's ready for Roxanne. Cargill, she's ready for Asuka, but she's also ready for Roxanne in the semifinals on Monday. She says Roxanne is still proving herself. Asuka is a different story, but the tournament was made for a woman who can take the crown, and she's not just walking in for the crown, but walking in to reign. Chelsea Green then mocks Alexa Bliss for her loss, but Charlotte comes in, threatening to take Green out tonight, as the only reason she's not still in the tournament is because her little crony didn't tap in time. Alexa says she doesn't need or want Charlotte's help, but Charlotte wasn't offering any help. She wants her own revenge. We then are supposed to get Kit Wilson versus Aleister Black. Supposed to be our next match, but as Aleister is making his entrance, R-Truth comes in and attacks Kit Wilson. He puts in the STF, and Wilson quickly taps, of course. Truth then grabs a mic. He wants John Cena, who he's facing later tonight, out here right now. And then he puts Kit back in the STF, and then agents have to come out and break it up, as Black just kind of stands there watching. And then he leaves, and Aleister's just kind of left with no match and no opponent. We then go to the back when we come back from commercial, and R-Truth is told to calm down because he wants to kill John Cena. Aleister Black then comes in and asks why Truth is getting involved in his matches, but Truth says it's nothing to do with Black. He just really wants to face John Cena and beat his ass. They go nose to nose, but Damian Priest comes in and separates them. Says he'll talk to R-Truth, obviously being his old buddy from the Judgment Day. Priest then says that there was no need for that because it's what Priest used to do as a member of the Judgment Day. Then R-Truth would be the one who would make him smile. He says use that aggression on Cena tonight, and then they'll hit the town for some drinks afterwards. This seems to get through to R-Truth, but he still seems angry as Priest walks away. We then get Cody Rhodes. He comes out to the ring to chat, but before he can say anything, Jey Uso comes out as well. He gets, he does the yeeting thing, and he gets a few encores. Uso says that this Monday there is only room for one of them, as they'll be facing each other in the King of the Ring. Uso knows Rhodes is going to bring it, and he knows this isn't personal. But with that being said, on Monday after they go to war, please believe that it's going to be four letters and one word: yeet. They then shake hands, but Sami Zayn comes out to interrupt, as he's also in the semifinals. Zayn says this is nice, as he gets to share the ring with two great friends who are two of the best the best of the business has to offer. He's the only one who has never been world champion, though, and that bothers him. Zayn talks about being the first one to congratulate both of them when they won their world titles. Now it is time for him to finish his story. Randy Orton then comes out, says he's going to be going after the world title when he wins King of the Ring. He respects everyone here and makes it clear that none of this is personal. Orton says Zayn will be world champion one day, but it's not going to be at SummerSlam, because tonight Orton is taking him out with the three most dangerous letters in WWE, which is RKO, and he does just that, defeating Sami Zayn via pinfall following the RKO to advance to the finals of the King of the Ring for the second year in a row, either facing Jey Uso or Cody Rhodes once he gets there. Pretty sure it's going to be Cody, but they could throw a wrench and go the other way. We then get Nia Jax. She comes out for a promo. Tiffany Stratton came to ask Nia Jax to be her mentor back in the day. But after she says that, Tiffany comes out, who says Jax is like the annoying ex who won't leave her alone. It's okay, though, because next week when they'll be facing each other with Stratton getting to add some more scars to that 5 head that Nia Jax has, because it is last woman standing. They then fight with Jax leaving Stratton laying. This would be the second last woman standing match taking place on WWE programming next week, because I believe that is the stip for Becky and Bayley as well. But Stratton's down. Naomi runs out and tries to cash in, but Nia Jax kind of cuts her off, giving her a new, giving Jax a new way to get on everyone's nerves by constantly cutting off Naomi's cash ins. And then Stratton gets up and drop kicks Naomi off the apron onto Jax before she bails out, because she had time to recover by that point. We then get a video for CM Punk versus John Cena that'll be happening at Night of Champions, comparing them and yang of WWE throughout the years as they've been intertwined all this time, and they couldn't be more different in how they go about business. We then get Charlotte Flair defeating Chelsea Green via submission with the figure 8. After the match, the Secret Harvest come in and beat down Charlotte before Alexa Bliss makes the save. Charlotte then ignores a handshake offer from Alexa Bliss and walks away without shaking her hand. We then get JC Mateo. He is ready to beat up Jacob Fatu for Solo Sikoa, but Solo Sikoa wants to try and talk it out with Jacob first, but Mateo should stand ready if things go wrong. We then get Sikoa coming out to the ring. He requests Fatu come out to clear the air. Sikoa says he's not here for a fight because he loves Fatu, as he always has. Families fight, but then they move forward, which is what Sikoa wants to do again. Fatu is all Sikoa has, and that's all he needs. Sikoa says he loves him, but the fans are certainly not convinced this is true. Fatu thinks Sikoa has been using him to gain power and fight his battles. Is that all this was for Sikoa? Not family, but just him using him to get himself further along. Fatu wants Sikoa to look at him while he's speaking. Ever since Fatu won the title, Sikoa has been acting differently, so maybe the title is the problem. Fatu then lays it on the mat and says, come fight him for it. Sikoa loads up the Samoan spike, but Fatu shoves him down, only for JC Mateo to run in. They then double team, taking down Fatu, but Jimmy Uso runs in to make the save. Uso then gets taken down, but Fatu ends up kind of fighting off Mateo and Sikoa as they kind of scurry away. But Uso and Fatu seem to not kind of be on the same page, but kind of be on the same page at the same time. We then get LA Knight. He defeats Bronson Reed via disqualification when Braun Breaker interferes and hits the super spear. After the match, he hits another super spear, and then Bronson Reed hits 3 consecutive tsunami splashes to really leave LA Knight hurting on the mat. Jacob Fatu then says he's ready to face Solo Sikoa at Night of Champions for the United States Championship. He says, then get in where you fit in, because if not, it's going to be all gas and no brakes. We then get our main event match where R-Truth defeats John Cena via disqualification when Cena cracks him over the head with the WWE title. After the match, CM Punk comes in to help R-Truth, but he ends up getting kicked low. He gets hit with the belt shot, and then Cena pulls out a table adorned with Slim Jim logos, no less. Cena gets in another belt shot, and then he hits the AA through the table. He then grabs the mic and sits on the turnbuckle, where he starts cutting a promo that he's going to call his own version of the pipe bomb. He says he has a lot to get off his chest, starting with the fact that he doesn't hate Punk. He hates the idea of Punk being the best in the world because Cena is the best in the world. Punk is better at one thing, and as he is the best bullshitter in the world. He says, uh-oh, I said a bad word, so the show must be off the rails. He's breaking the fourth wall. Cena is jealous of Punk for conning people into saying that he's the best in the world, especially when he changes his values more often than Cena changes his T-shirts. Cena then says hello to Claudio Castagnoli, Nick Nemeth, and Matt Cardona. Punk then has done nothing but repeat the same thing over and over and has become a promo potato salad. he's not the voice of the voiceless anymore because he's a millionaire these days. In Saudi Arabia, he'll face a different tune when he finds out that Cena is the best of all time. Punk was the best in the world for 7 minutes 10 years ago. If he still thinks that after Night of Champions, it must be a small world after all. Punk then needs to bring his A game because the mood is starting to change. A referee finally comes in to check on Punk, which would make you think that things are going to go out a little bit longer. Cena then says he won't do anything else to Punk and holds up the title, saying get a good shot of the champ. And then he tells USA they can keep their extra 2.5 minutes because he doesn't need the time to set off a bomb. He then flips the mic to Punk, saying that he just made his stupid promo even more famous. And then he poses with his championship to end the show. So pretty good promo there by Cena, maybe one of the best of his career, if not the best, kind of imitating Punk's previous pipe bomb, kind of breaking the fourth wall, talking to people that used to work in WWE that don't anymore. But pretty good stuff there from Cena. But best match of the night was Orton and Zayn, without a doubt. Good little semifinal for the King of the Ring. And I was kind of shocked that Orton won, but I think Zayn will have a bigger win in the future. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But Orton and Zayn, best match of SmackDown. We'll move on to Collision to wrap up the week. We get Stokely Hathaway. He's with FTR. Cash Wheeler had, for some reason, not been at Dynamite. Probably might have something to do with his legal issues, but because they were in Mexico. But with them back by their side, they are going to team tonight with the new team name. It's Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, but they're going by Protoshita as their new team name. And tonight, FTR and Protoshita is going to win their 8-man tag that they're going to be in. John Moxley opens the in-ring action, though, and he defeats AR Fox via technical submission when Fox passes out in the Bulldog choke. Moxley wouldn't relinquish the hold after the match, continuing to punish AR. He then hits a Death Rider for added insult, then grabs the mic. Moxley wants to talk about Hangman. Hangman has been pissing away his God-given gifts for years. Mox doesn't have the same patience that the AEW fans have. He's sick of waiting for him to get it together. Moxley says he will run the Hangman out of the sport for good, and he can go back to counting chickens on his farm because this business is not for him. We then get Adam Cole. He talks backstage with his partners tonight and says tonight they will keep the party rolling. The TNT champion is back on TNT, and there's nothing sweeter than this team getting victory tonight. And that is undisputed. We then get FTR and Protoshita defeating Adam Cole, Roddy Strong, Bandito, and Daniel Garcia when FTR hits the Shatter Machine on Roddy Strong. They attack after the bell, and FTR sets up the spike pile driver, but the Outrunners come in to cut them off. We get, and then FTR kind of rolls out to the floor to avoid any further of a fight. We then hear from the women's all-star teams from later. Tay Mello is ready to team with her tag team partners tonight. Thunder Rosa is coming for Athena's title, but tonight she's coming to just take out Athena herself. We then get Athena's team. She says it's about to be Athena Elite Wrestling tonight, and she'll maybe consider making her partner her future minions, which is her little tag-alongs that she has in Ring of Honor. Mercedes Moné then speaks after Dynamite this past Wednesday, and she is now 6 belts Moné. Mercedes then says to Toni Storm that she is the master of any game. This win was just a preview for her at All In. Moné is iconic, the blueprint, the CEO. Talks about Tony time. Tony time is ticking, and it's almost up. We then get Swerve Strickland defeating Shane Taylor via pinfall with the house call. We come back from commercial break, and we have Timeless Toni Storm. She kind of looks like Carmen Sandiego tonight for some reason. But 3 weeks ago, Moné shook her hand and said they'd have the biggest women's wrestling match of all time. Since then, she has been eating steak, playing on her phone, and trying to kiss Tony. and now she is still in Mexico because she has won yet another title. Is that all she is to Monet? Another trophy, another toy for her collection. Storm wants to say this as nicely as possible. Storm is not some other motherfucker. She is Timeless Tony Storm, the AEW World's Champion, a Women's World Champion. And if Monet makes one false move, she will eat her alive. Storm demands Mercedes' best, and because that is what she is. One day, Storm's reign will be over, and there is no one more deserving than Monet. The day Storm met her, she knew that she was what she was destined to be. Storm believes that Monet is the greatest of all time. Storm is a manic, neurotic, erotic, sexually questionable, consistently sweating, bottom-heavy, transatlantic whore. She makes magic happen, so unless Monet plans on pulling a magic rabbit out of her snatch, she highly doubts that Monet can say the same. Uh, Monet will look her in the eye at All In and realize that Storm has to beat her, and Monet will to beat Tony. Monet will have to kill her. So hell of a promo there by Tony Storm. We then get Mark Briscoe, Hologram, and Willow defeating the MXM Collection and Taya when Briscoe hits the froggy bow on Mansois. We then get Lexi Nair. She's in the back with Chris Statlander. Statlander is mad that she hasn't wrestled in forever. She's not going to stand here and talk about how great everyone else is. Wheeler Yuta then appears again, says he hates to say he told you so, and Statlander screams at him and shoves him away. Statlander then turns and John Moxley is there. He accidentally knocked her phone out of her hand, so he bends down to pick it up. Moxley says, "Don't ever let anyone tell you who you are or what you're worth," before kind of walking away. We then get Don Callis. He's on his way to the ring. He has a special announcement as he takes the mic from Tony Schiavone. Here is the greatest wrestler in the world and the greatest wrestler in the history of New Japan, the newest member of the Don Callis family, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Okada and Callis want to show some very special footage. Callis rolls the tape of the attack of Kenny Omega last week. Callis then wants to know how it feels for Omega that Callis and Okada have teamed up against him. Kenny may be laying in a hospital bed right now with tubes coming out of his gut and a colostomy bag hanging off the bed. If Kenny can somehow make it to All In and wrestle Okada, know that he will truly be alone. Omega destroyed his relationships with everyone. He is alone in this world, and he doesn't have one friend left. Mark Briscoe then comes out begging Callis to shut the hell up. Briscoe considers himself to be Omega's friend. He isn't his only friend, though. As Kota Ibushi comes out randomly, Mark Briscoe runs and takes out Lance Archer, leaving Ibushi to enter the ring to fight Josh Alexander. A roundhouse kick knocks Alexander out. Ibushi then stands in the ring with his back to Okada. They go face to face, and Okada obviously strikes first. They then trade right hands, and Ibushi responds with kicks and slaps, and then obviously Okada, not liking this, bails very quickly. We then come back from a commercial break, and the Workhorsemen are brawling with Big Bill and Brian Keith. Keith gets a chair shot to JD Drake from behind, and they repeatedly slam his head into the steel steps. Keith then sets up 4 steel chairs outside, and Big Bill goozles Henry and choke slams him through all 4 of the chairs. Big Bill then grabs the mic, but the patriarch, Christian Cage, interrupts. He tells Seattle to sit down and shut up while he conducts business. Cage says he loves a good backstage brawl as much as the next person, but when it spills out to the ring and eats up his airtime, he has a problem with it. Cage then says the last couple of months, Nick Wayne has been wrestling at a godlike pace, and that everything that has everything to do with Cage's guidance. Cage wants to make more history, and it's time for Wayne to walk beside him and not behind him. They're to become the first ever father and son tag team champions. Big Bill questions Cage being the father, knowing what he knows about Mother Wayne. Nick's father could be literally anybody. If Cage doesn't like what he's saying, how about he comes down to the ring and they can do this right now? Cage says says he will have nothing of the sort, and that won't happen tonight. Cage wonders if Bill fell off the wagon this weekend and if he's been drinking. Cage is the one that calls the shots. He is the face of TNT now and forever, and the Patriarchy then make their way backstage. So it seems like Big Bill and Brian Keith will be going against members of the Patriarchy going forward. We then get Lexi Nair in the back. She tries to get a word in with Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens after Summer Blockbuster last week. Gunn tells Lexi to go away. Bowen says Gunn was supposed to be helping him, but that hasn't happened. And then Bowen says he needs to win, and then storms off. So little trouble in paradise with those two. We then get Jet Speed of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey defeating the Gates of Agony when Knight hits the UFO splash. And then we get our all-star women's match where Athena, Tekla, Megan Bain, and Penelope Ford defeat Thunder Rosa, Queen Aminata, Tay Conti, and Anna Jay when Athena uses her ROH title to smash Rosa over the head and gain the pinfall. And then the 8-man tag earlier in the show would be my match of the night with FTR and Protoshita versus Adam Cole and friends. So that would be my match of the week for Collision, and that'll wrap up the week overall. Like I said, I'm not going to do a top 5 this week. Might be discontinuing that for the next little while. May still do it for like pay-per-views if there's like a pay-per-view weekend with a couple of different shows, but the TV ones are it's kind of a tedious task that I'm just not sure I want to keep doing. And like I do a match of the night for each show, so definitely, if nothing else, check out the shows or check out the matches of each show that I say might be the best in my opinion, and just watch all the shows in general because there's a lot of great wrestling going on right now. So. But thank you for joining me as always. See you next week. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay your ass down for the 3-second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's gon' be what it's gon' be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step. A raw stance is a gift, and you insist it's my rep. John Cena trademark, y'all are so-so. And talk about the bread you make, but don't know the recipe for dough. Aiming guns in all your photos, that's a no-no. When this pop, your lip lock, your big talks are blatant no-so. See what happens when the ice age melts. It seems monetary status is not what matters, but it helps. I'm rocking timepiece by Benny, if any. The same reason y'all could love me is the same reason y'all condemn me. A man's measured by the way that he thinks, not clothing lines, ice links, leather and minks. I spent 20 plus years seeking knowledge of self. So for now, Mark Breck is living life for wealth. Your time is up, my